Hi guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. In today's video, we are going to be making this halter neck crop top. Okay, I hope you like this video. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you learned a thing or two. If you have any questions, put it down in the comment section down below. Don't forget to like, share and subscribe, and let's get into this tutorial. Starting on our pattern paper, we are going to be working with a length of 17 inches. You can see I already marked the chest line, bust line, under bust and waist line. Next, our shoulder, we are working with a shoulder length of 8 inches, okay? And then the width of the neckline, we're going to be working with 3 inches. Now, moving on to the depth of the neckline. Our depth of the neckline is going to be the bust line. So where we have the bust line, you're just going to angle your ruler directly to your bust line, and that's what is going to be the neckline. You can decide to make yours a little longer than that, but this is what I chose to do. So next, for the shoulder slope, we're going to go ahead and mark 1 inch for our shoulder slope, okay? So now I'm going to be connecting that to the width of the neckline. Now we're going to go ahead and mark the exact length of the shoulder that we need for this top. So we're going to be working with 2 inches for the shoulder, and you'll be connecting that 2 inches to the armhole, okay? So guys, please forgive me if my audio is a little bit odd than usual. That's because my mic is having issues, so I have to record directly, so forgive me for that. Moving on, we are going to go ahead and mark our nipple to nipple measurement. So you'll be placing your nipple to nipple measurement on your bust line, under bust and waistline. So I'm going to be working with 4 inches. So I'm just going to go ahead and place that on the bust line, under bust and waistline. Next, we're going to go ahead and mark 1 inch on both sides on the under bust and the waistline. Now I'm going to go ahead and roll that and connect the dots together. Next, I'm going to go ahead and add my body measurement. So I'm going to be adding my bust measurement on my chest line, adding my sewing allowance. So I'm going to be working with 1 inch sewing allowance. Same thing on the under bust, but remember to add the allowance for the dart, which is the 2 inches, including your sewing allowance. So now I'm going to go ahead and roll that in. Next, we are going to be marking 1 inch from the under bust. So you are going to be going up. So I'm marking 1 inch from the under bust, and then you'll be connecting it to the darts on the under bust. So I'm going to show you what I'm talking about in a minute. So I'm going to be using my curved ruler to be connecting the 1 inch that we took earlier on the under bust, and then I'll be connecting it to my dart points there. You can see what I just did, right? So I'm just going to be using my curved ruler to just adjust the lines to make sure that the curve comes out really smooth. Now we are going to be placing our tape at the side, and we are going to be going upwards at the opposite end. We're going upwards by 1/2 inch, and you'll be connecting it to the opposite darts mark there. Now I've gone ahead to roll that so you can see what we have now. So this is what the lines are looking like. Next, we're going to go ahead and cut out our pattern piece. So this is how we are going to be folding the lower part of this top. And then for the upper part, you're going to go ahead and use your gather stitch at that dart point. So you make sure to notch when you are cutting on your fabric. So right here, I made a little adjustment to the pattern, okay? And I'm going to be showing you guys what I did. So at the center point here, I went ahead to use my masking tape and I just taped down that center point. You can see where I'm taping. So I decided to tape that. That's because I want the center, the lower center part of the top to come up a little bit. Remember, we marked 1 inch from the underbust, okay? So this time around, I want us to go up a little bit, okay? So I'm going to go ahead and place my tape and we'll be marking 2 inches up. So we went 1 inch up, so we're just going to be adding 1 inch extra, making it 2 inches for the lower part of this top, okay? So I just went ahead to use my pencil and mark that, and then I'm just going to freehandedly curve out the new line for the lower part of this top. You can decide to leave yours as 1 inch or 1.5, 2 inches, whichever works fine. It's just my preference and I just decided to change it. So this is what the new line is looking like. Now we're going to go ahead and cut it out. So we have an advanced or corrected pattern. So this is what the pattern is looking like now, okay? Now when you're cutting on your fabric, you're going to close the dart for the lower part. You can see I just went ahead to use my masking tape to cover up the dart, so when I'm cutting on my fabric, it's a lot easier for me. So right here, I already cut my pattern. I already placed my pattern on my fabric to cut. And now for the upper part, I'm going to show you guys what I do here concerning the shoulder for the front part of the top. So we are going to be adding about 1.5 or 2 inches depending on what you decide. And that's because I don't want the shoulder point to start, like the seam to start directly on my shoulder. So I want it to go a little bit to the back of my neck. Okay, so that is why I'm adding a little bit of inches to it. Also, is also going to give allowance to the strap that you're going to be adding on your shoulder for you to be able to tie. Okay, so that is why I'm doing that. So I'm going to show you guys in a bit how I do that. So I decided to fold the tip of the shoulder on the pattern paper. You can see the little fold I did there, and that is because I want the extra allowance to flow smoothly. I don't want any sharp ends, okay? So that is what I'm doing right here. And then after sewing that, marking that, I'm going to add the 1/2 inch allowance on both sides. You see that in a bit when I start cutting. So I added 1.5 inch, you can see. So next, I'm going to go ahead and mark the 1 inch for the center front for the neckline, okay? So the 1 inch for the neckline. 1/2 inch, forgive me. 1/2 inch for the neckline, forgive me. And then I'm going to go ahead and also do that for the opposite end, which is the armhole. Now we're just going to go ahead and cut. So I'm just cutting freehandedly, having in mind that I have my 1/2 inch added to the armhole part of this top. Okay, so this is what we have here for the armhole. Next, for the neckline depth, I'm just also going to cut out the neckline. So you make sure to cut totally so you have 2 separate parts. We don't want them together. And this is what we have for the shoulder. Next, we are going to be cutting the back of the top. I already went ahead to cut, but I'm going to show you guys the measurements I'm using for this, okay? Show you the guide how I was able to cut the back. So I just went ahead to place the front piece on the fabric like so, and then I just cut. So instead of placing the fabric, you can just go ahead to use your tip and measure the side of your pattern and then just place it and cut a long fabric. So you just slant it long like that. You're not going to use any particular length. It's just your preference and how much fabric you have. So here I've gone ahead to sew the top, the front. So this is what the front is looking like. I've gone ahead to also add the facing because I used the lining. The lining is also the same fabric. I also went ahead to ruche the dart point for the front there. So the dart point, yeah, so I went ahead to ruche using my gather stitch. So now we are going to be placing, for the lower part of the top, we're going to be placing it right sides facing. So make sure you notch the lower part of the top so you know exactly which point is the center. So we're placing them, we are more like going to be sandwiching the fabric in between the top front, so which is the one that has your neckline, right? So you can see what I'm doing. It's pretty explanatory. So we're going to go ahead and sew that, and I'll come back and show you guys what we have next. So right here, I've gone ahead to sew it and it's looking nice and pretty. Yeah, so this is what it's looking like. Now we're going to go ahead and join the back to the front piece, okay? So now just be placing them right side facing each other like so. And I'm just going to go ahead and pin them down and sew on my sewing machine. After sewing the sides of your top is practically done. And yeah, this guys is the end of the video. Please make sure to like, share and subscribe. I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye.